I feel like the Makita versus Metabo HPT rivalry isn't really that big of a deal here in the US. You don't really see these two brands compared side by side that often. Now, probably elsewhere, maybe like Japan, other places in the world, these two brands are much more well known, where Metabo HPT is known as Hikoki in other parts of the world, and also Makita is, they're relatively big here in the States, but I know there's some countries where they're much, much bigger. So that brings the question is, should you go for Metabo HPT or should you go for Makita? So if you're looking for a solid drill and impact kit, but you want to get into a line that has a little bit more power, like a 36 volt line or a 40 volt line, you got two great options. You got Makita and you got Metabo HPT. So these aren't necessarily the same generation. This isn't, the latest generation out of either one of these brands. I've got the newer impacts from each one, actually from Japan. So I didn't want to put those in the video because these aren't necessarily going to be available here in the States. But these are the latest drills from the 40 volt or 36 volt line in each brand. So when you compare these two lines, Metabo HPT is going to be more of that mid-range, I don't want to say value level, but it's definitely going to be a bit more bang for your buck when it comes to these tools. Whereas Makita is definitely aiming for that industrial level tool. They're aiming for, all the features, all the boxes checked. So if we look at the hammer drills right away off the bat, we're going to see, they're going to be very similar designed. So the Metabo HPT is going to be a bit longer of a hammer drill here, whereas Makita has done some stuff with a electronic clutch now, which is a pretty wild feature that they've came out with. I haven't really got a chance to use a lot of it myself just yet. Although, however, there's nothing wrong with the tried and true mechanical clutches on a lot of drills, which like the Metabo HPT has here. Now these are very similar in weight, of course. However, though, pricing-wise is we're going to find some differentiation there. MSRP on these drills is quite similar, actually. Of course, when you compare batteries as well, too, they do get very close. And, of course, they're going to get pricier as you use the larger batteries with the 36 volt and 40 volt lines. But the Metabo HPT can be found used or on eBay for relatively cheap. This one right here costs you about 60 bucks on eBay. Got it brand new in the box. I think it's been a fantastic drill so far. Whereas the Makita over here on my right, I've actually got these from Home Depot, and currently you can get them on sale right now by returning the free battery. It comes out to around $222 for the kit right here with a charger. Now, depending on what you do, you might be using impact drivers more, you might be using drills more. I will say personally for myself, I do use impact drivers a lot more than I use a drill, so that's kind of the thing that I look for the most. Now, one major advantage that I'll give Metabo HPT is the IP56 rating. So that's going to be a rating against water and dust intrusion. This can pretty much be used in full rain. You can dip the entire head itself underwater to clean it, and it's going to be working great no matter what kind of dust or dirt's going to be getting on this. Makita does not offer the same thing until you get into more of the Gen 2 XGT impact drivers, which of course would be a lot more expensive, but Makita finally has done some IP56 rating on some of their tools now, which has been long requested, long awaited, where Metabo HPT has been pretty well known for including a lot of IP56 rated ratings with their tools. Now, one thing I do like when Makita does a lot better than Metabo HPT is going to be in their settings. Makita offers a number of settings in their impact drivers, so whether you're going through self-tapping screws, you're going through, you need some more speeds, Makita does an excellent job at that, as well as a bolt removal mode that'll slow down the impact driver when you're using it so that the bolt or nut doesn't fly right off and you gotta go find it. Whereas Metabo HPT has a much simpler design, simply having a couple of speed settings on the side. It works, but it's not as user-intuitive as the Makita, unfortunately. But to summarize things, to put it this way, if you're looking to buy basically the cheapest of these two sets, I would say right now the Makita, if you want to buy it from Home Depot and return that free battery at around $200, is going to be the cheapest you can find brand new. But if you're willing to search a little bit and go on eBay and find these possibly used, maybe even new in the box, you're going to be able to pick up this set for even cheaper than that with some patience. Now, of course, they've released a new generation of this impact driver, the I think it's Gen 3 now. They call it the Bolt. And of course, they're probably coming out with a new hammer drill here shortly as well. So It's almost hard to really compare pricing on these two kits right now between the Makita and Metabo HPT, as there are of course many different ways to buy these two different tools. However, though, I will say Makita has a huge advantage because they have a lot more tools that work on their 40 volt or XGT line. So you've got a lot more of future use, future expansion tools. We're talking mowers, chainsaws, reciprocating saws, grinders, whereas Metabo HPT is really only limited to hand tools like grinders, sanders, impacts, drills, things of that sort. It's a very limited and small line here in the United States. Whereas Makita has been coming out with a lot more of their XGT tools, not necessarily getting rid of their 18 volt line, but supplementing it with a lot more powerful tools. While these are both professional grade tools, they will both of course last you quite a long time. I use Makita on the job sites for myself personally for professional use, but I use my Metabo HPT at home for my constant projects and fixes and repairs that I'm doing. They both have excellent uses, they both have great price points, but there are some just minor differences between the two. For the most part though, you can't go wrong with either one. My suggestion though is to go for which one you can refine is going to be the cheaper one. Unless you want to go with some more tools in the same line, if you need more than just a drill and impact, then Makita is definitely the way to go. So guys, thanks for watching, take care, have a great day.